Welcome back. There were heated exchanges in Parliament on Thursday during answers to questions about the Sunborn Hotel, which culminated with the Chief Minister giving notice after the meeting had finished of a motion accusing the Leader of the Opposition of misleading the House. At one point, the Speaker intervened, saying that if MPs wanted a slanging match, they should put someone else in the chair. In his motion, Fabian Picardo noted comments by Mr. Feetham that he was unaware Hassans was acting for the operators of the Sunborn, whereas there were 3 government press releases in 2013 that explicitly disclosed this. He therefore accused Daniel Feetham of having clearly misled the House. Mr. Picardo already advised Mr. Feetham during their parliamentary exchanges that he might bring a motion against him, with Mr. Feetham replying that he would confront it head-on. And the Leader of the Opposition suggested that the Chief Minister adjourned Parliament to the week before Easter so that most people in Gibraltar don't listen in to the debate on the Dr. Hiraldi inquiry. A motion was moved by Daniel Feetham which called on the House to resolve to repair the damage done by the publicity campaign which led to the Espejo Público programme on Antena 3, describing the Dr. Hiraldi home as a house of horrors. Speaking to GBC, Mr. Feetham said the fact that the motion will probably now be heard in a week when most people tend to travel away from the Rock shows the concern with which the government has dealt with this issue. The fire and rescue services in Gibraltar will in future be trained and prepared to deal with any potential accidents at the new power station and liquid natural gas facilities. This was the answer given in Parliament in response to questions from the opposition during a morning session which saw some heated debate over LNG.
A total of 17 questions were tabled on power generation, with the majority devoted to the plans for the new power station and liquid natural gas facilities. The Environment Minister said site-specific reports would be made available once the government had received detailed proposals from potential LNG suppliers. Dr. John Cortes said there are no reports on potential terrorist attacks or seismic movement, adding this would be carried out if the risk assessment indicates a need. The Leader of the Opposition accused the government of deciding to locate the LNG station at the North Mole before contracting experts, with Dr. Cortes saying the government responsibly explored all different options based on numerous discussions and sound advice. On the Gibraltar International Bank, the government revealed it's expected to open for business towards the end of April, a month later than initially estimated. The construction cost so far has been nearly £3.6 million, with the budgeted cost £5.2 million. Responding to Damon Bocino as to any plans to amend employment laws, the Employment Minister said the government is considering the potential impact of the Industrial Tribunal ruling that age shouldn't bar individuals from claiming unfair dismissal. Neil Costa said a legal review was underway, after which he'd take a view. And responding to questions from Jaime Neto, the government revealed one macaque was put down after it attacked and bit a person, but that there was no culling in 2014. Dr. John Cortes said the frequency of macaque incursions into urban areas has been hugely reduced, adding the department's also working successfully with operators on the Upper Rock.
2 men have been charged with dangerous driving in relation to a traffic accident that occurred last November on Devil's Tower Road. Wayne Auld of 28 Schomburg and Joseph Manuel Hernandez of 86 Edinburgh House both appeared before the Magistrates' Court this week.
The accident last November saw a black Honda Civic wrapped against a lamppost near the Sundial roundabout and resulted in 2 men being hospitalised, one of the drivers and a passenger. According to the prosecution, Robert Fishel QC, the 2 defendants were racing down Devil's Tower Road when the accident occurred, leaving the passenger in a critical condition in hospital in Malaga for a prolonged period of time. It's said that Wayne Auld was driving at around 116 kilometers per hour before his car crashed into the lamppost, and Joseph Manuel Hernandez, who was in the second vehicle at the time of the accident, was allegedly driving more than 3 times the speed limit at 162 kilometers per hour. Mr. Auld has been charged with dangerous driving, as well as driving whilst on drink or drugs, and also maliciously wounding, inflicting grievous bodily harm. Mr. Hernandez is facing 2 counts of dangerous driving. Stipendiary magistrate Charles Beethel has bailed the 2 men out with the condition that they can't drive any mechanical vehicle. The case has been adjourned until the 19th of May.
Professor Daniela Tilbury has been appointed as the new Vice-Chancellor of the Gibraltar University and will take up the role officially in August, just before the university's opening. The announcement was made by Education Minister Gilbert Digudi on Wednesday.
Professor Tilbury has previously been involved in the development of the university project as an advisor and brings with her 25 years of knowledge and experience in higher education. She says she's honoured and humbled by the appointment and is excited by the benefits the university will bring to the community.
It's not always known that the Vice-Chancellor is also the CEO of the institution, so as well as having to set the academic leadership of the institution, define the courses, define the research, but also have a much broader vision of how a university can establish an international reputation and be respected for its teaching and learning. There's also the business side, and I'm not sure that everybody understands that. You have to have strong business models that have viable economic pathways to sustain the university in the longer term, because universities are businesses at the end of the day, and you need to establish a long-term viable plan. And understanding business plans and the commercial viability of research and teaching and learning as a profession is not always understood as a responsibility of a Vice-Chancellor.
The government has launched a scheme to better handle the registration of deaths. Tell Us Once will inform all government departments that need to know about a death once it is registered. It's a distressing time when you lose a family member, and the last thing a person will want to think about is the administrative tasks that need to be done. One of these is informing various government departments and agencies of the death. The new scheme launched today looks to make things easier for the individual. It was launched at the registration office in Sir Joshua Hassan House behind Duke of Kent House and was attended by the Chief Minister, Fabian Picardo, and Ernest Gomez, the Chief Secretary. With the new Tell Us Once facility, when a death is registered, all other government departments that need to know about the death will be informed automatically. These include water and electricity departments, Social Security, ID and Passport Service, pensions and many more.
So this is a huge step forward. It's a step change in the way that we deal with the registration of deaths. It will have the benefit also of making the process of registration of births and the process of application for Gibraltarian status more comfortable than has been the case until now. But the real change and the real, I think, step forward in the sensitivity that the administration is going to show those that are going through a difficult period is to have adopted the proposal of the Senior Citizens Association and provide one place where you tell us once that your loved one has gone.
The Senior Citizens Association have been backing this move for some time now, and the chairman, Manolo Ruiz, was present for the launch of the scheme.
Thank you very much indeed to you, all the staff, everybody who's been engaged in this. And this facility, which we hope will never have to be used, but that's again, that's a pie in the sky. What we are very grateful, because now we know that people who have gone through this trauma before will really appreciate what this office will do and how it will enhance their quality of life, how it will stop part of the trauma we shall have to experience. Thank you very much indeed, Chief Minister, and thank you everybody else.
The scheme gives individuals a different environment to before. No longer counters, but rooms where they can enjoy privacy as they deal with their matters. Leaflets with information on registration of births, deaths and Gibraltarian status will be distributed in various locations such as the hospital and public offices. Despite the wet weather, the new luxury P&O cruise ship Britannia received a warm welcome from the Rock on Tuesday as she called into Gibraltar on her maiden voyage. The ship boasts 16 decks with a number of entertainment facilities. She arrived this morning to stormy seas. Britannia, launched just last week by Queen Elizabeth II, calling at Gibraltar her first port of call on her maiden voyage. 143,000 tons in size, 330 metres long, with 3,647 passengers on board. One of the ship's main exterior features is the 97-metre-long Union flag painted on the bow. The impression one gets when stepping on board the Britannia is one of elegance mixed with the modern specifications of a 21st century cruise ship. Britannia was built at a cost of nearly £500 million and bears the same name as the Queen's former royal yacht, decommissioned in 1997. Minister for Tourism Samantha Sacramento was present at the naming ceremony last week. Today, she met the Britannia's captain, Paul Brown, who said it was very fitting that Gibraltar should be the first port of call for the ship's maiden voyage on this great day, as he called it, even with the variable weather. Minister Sacramento welcomed the captain to Gibraltar and highlighted how P&O cruises have a long association with the Rock and are always welcome. They exchanged gifts, too, with the minister presenting the captain with a commemorative plate and the captain likewise presenting the minister with a memento from the ship. Exchanges were also made with Manuel Tirado, deputy captain of the ports, George Gajero, deputy chairman of the travel agents MH Bland, as well as collector of customs John Rodriguez and borders and coast guards agencies Joseph Molinari.
Oh, well, of course, hugely exciting. We were named on Tuesday by Her Majesty and we set sail on Saturday, so 2 days at sea, and Gibraltar, our maiden port and our maiden cruise. So huge excitement on board the ship. She's a wonderful ship. I mean, just look at the spaces. Our passengers have really taken to her. She's proven to be very popular. The biggest ship designed and built for the British passenger. We have that 97-metre long Union flag on the bow, so we're proudly showing our credentials. We're a British cruise line for British passengers. Very exciting times.
Our cruise ship calls are up this year. We're expecting 215 calls this year. That's up from 181 last year. Of that, 48 will be P&O. 48 will be P&O ships, and that's up from 36 last year. And the Britannia itself will be calling on Gibraltar 6 times this year. So, that's wonderful.
We were then given a tour of the ship's facilities, which included lounges that feature live entertainment, a theatre and several cinema screens, any number of cafes, bars and restaurants, and a casino, of course. The Oasis Spa can also be found on board, as well as shopping and other amenities. Well, this is probably not the weather that the Britannia would have liked for its first trip to Gibraltar on its maiden voyage, but hopefully the Rock and its people, the passengers that have been coming off the ship and onto the Rock, have been left with a good impression of Gibraltar. And indeed, Britannia will be visiting the Rock several more times throughout the year. That weather, of course, will improve, as I'm sure the experience will as well. But for today, a lot of passengers have been coming off the ship to enjoy what Gibraltar has to offer, which is good for the tourism industry and good for the Rock in general. And that's all for News Review. For more, you can head over to our website, gbc.gi/news. You can also find us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you very much for watching. From the team, good night.